Ah, the business lunch. You probably enjoy these in your native language, but I'm going to put this down before I hurt someone, but are you doing and saying the right things in your business lunches in English? Are you feeling like your usual confident self? Well, today you'll learn some expressions to make sure that your next business lunch in English is a success. Hi, I'm your English coach, Christina, and welcome to Business English with Christina, where you become better at English and better at business. In today's lesson, we'll talk about a business English essential, the business lunch. These days, you might be meeting your business contacts for coffee, for lunch, for dinner, whatever, but in any meal, there are 3 important parts that you need to know how to manage to make sure that that meal goes well. So today you'll learn expressions and a few soft skills so that you can easily build rapport with small talk and transition to business topics and close your business lunch on a positive note. But first, why are business lunches so important? You know, I'm originally from the US, and for Americans at least, business lunches are pretty important. The way we see it, a business lunch is a chance to meet someone in a different setting from, not just the office, so that you have your business contacts' undivided attention. And you get to do them a favor too, buying them lunch. And a good business lunch can build a rapport, create a good business relationship, and move your work forward. Now, yes, a business lunch has a purpose, and you probably know why you are there and what you want to discuss with your business contact. But as you probably already know, small talk is very important in many English-speaking cultures, and it's expected at business lunches. First, what not to talk about during small talk. My clients often ask me, what are topics that should be avoided? And that's a good question because there are definitely some topics that you don't want to discuss in a business lunch. The big topics not to discuss clearly are politics, religion, and romantic relationships, because those can be divisive topics of conversation. And the idea of small talk, it's to build a connection with the person, to find common ground, to show that you're interested in your business contact as a person, as a human being. And because of that, you want small talk to be comfortable for everyone. You want a lively conversation, but that's not too personal. So how do you do that? Before we find out, go ahead and hit that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to let me know that you're enjoying improving your business English with me. Now, here are some questions that you can ask to start up a small talk conversation at your business lunch. You can learn a few of these and you'll be ready for any situation. Of course, the weather is a popular topic, and we do talk about the weather all the time. It's not just a cliche. A good way to start a conversation like that is just, can you believe the weather we're having? Especially if the weather is exceptionally hot, cold, rainy, beautiful, sunny, whatever. So it's a pretty versatile conversation starter there. It's also common to ask if someone saw a recent sporting event, especially if it's a big event like in the US, the Super Bowl. And you can simply say, did you catch the game lately? And if it's a big event, they'll know which game you're talking about, usually. And if not, they'll ask. But there are other things you can ask about too. And having more ideas will help you make sure that you have more lively conversations. For example, you can show interest in your conversation partner by talking about, their career path. Try asking about maybe the companies that they've worked for in the past. For example, have you always worked at Supercorp? Or you could ask if they've always been in the same field, like have you always been in project management? You never know, you may discover you've got something in common in your professional backgrounds. But small talk can also be about cultural interests, especially, again, if there's something big going on. For example, you could ask, have you seen the new James Bond movie? I heard it's really good.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
Or, I saw that there's this big exhibit at the Louvre. Have you seen it by any chance? And of course, hobbies can be a great personal topic as well, but you can avoid sounding too intrusive or personal by offering some information about yourself first. So instead of saying, what are your hobbies or what do you like to do in your free time, you could say something like, last week the weather was so great, I just had to go out for a hike. What about you? Do you do any outdoor sports? And again, during those conversations, you may discover that you and your business contact share some kind of interest. And if that's the case, you can ask follow-up questions to show that you're interested in them and their life. For example, maybe in that past example, maybe your business contact doesn't go hiking, but they say, I don't do a lot of outdoor sports, but I do a lot of CrossFit. There you go. So you can ask them, questions like when they usually work out, where they work out, if it's really difficult, whatever. Small talk is just about asking questions and showing interest in the other person. As important as it is to make small talk, you also need to get down to business. Now, in a normal meeting, you might simply say, all right, shall we get down to business? But in a business lunch, that might feel a little direct. It depends on the situation. But you can use more business-related questions to move the conversation towards business. For example, you could ask how their business is going. For example, how have things been at Supercorp for the last quarter? Or ask them what's new at their company. So what's your team working on these days? Or if you know that their company is working on some new developments, you could ask about that. For example, how's your new project going? Or, so how have you enjoyed working with the new team since the merger? And if your business contact is starting to ask business-related questions to you, that can be the cue that it's time to move the conversation to business. Now, eventually, all good things come to an end. Your business lunch will come to an end as well. And this will usually happen when someone brings you the check or when you ask for it. Now, remember, when you invite someone out for a business lunch, it's polite to pay the bill yourself. And this is a great moment to thank your business contact. And you can say something like, thanks for meeting me for lunch today. It was a real pleasure. You could also suggest staying in contact. Depending on the situation, you can say something like, I'll be in touch by email with the details we discussed. Or, would you like to send me that proposal later on? Or, feel free to get in touch with me if you have any questions. And of course, if you don't use it, you lose it. So here's how you can use what you learned today. First, tell us in the comments if you often have business lunches, or maybe if you often had them, maybe more in the past before COVID. And share one small talk question that you could ask at your next business lunch. It'll happen one day, I'm sure. And this is the perfect opportunity to practice, to make sure you have a good question and add that to your active vocabulary. Now, if this lesson was helpful for you, I would love to know. And there are 3 ways that you can tell me. Give this lesson a thumbs up on YouTube and subscribe to my channel so that you never miss any more business English lessons. You can go over to my website and get the free English Habits Kit. The link is down below, and it's going to help you to build some solid learning habits for lifelong, enjoyable learning. And of course, you can watch this next lesson all about some of my favorite foods from the US. Thank you so much for improving your English with Business English with Christina. I'll see you next time, and as they say in my adopted home country, France, bon appétit!